Hello, Snoqualmie Elementary families. I'm Miss Shier. I teach 5th grade stream. It's time for some science fun. Now, you don't need a fancy lab coat or goggles or a flask. You just need everyday items from your home. Today we're going to make a water clock. This story is inspired by a book I read. This book is called The Warlord's Alarm, a Mathematical Adventure by Virginia Walton Pilegard and illustrated by Nicholas DeBow. For today's experiment, you'll need some things from around the house. A styrofoam cup, a popsicle stick, a toothpick, some string or twine or yarn, a small condiment cup with a hole in the middle, a pony bead, and a jingle bell. Today we're going to be making something called a water clock. Water clocks are some of the oldest time measuring systems in history. So old that the original creators of a water clock aren't really known. Evidence of water clocks in ancient Egypt date back their use to the 15th century. Some historians say that they believe water clocks have been in China or used in China back as far as 4000 BC. But up until pendulum clocks became common in the 17th century, water clocks were used around the world in almost every culture, with innovations and developments making them more and more accurate over time. All right, there are two types of water clocks. One measures time using inflow, water going into a container, and there are others that measure the outflow, water going out of a container. Put simply, it involves collecting water into a vessel and marking it to keep track of the water flow in or out. Pretty simple, but completely genius idea. The best part is that you can make your own water clock. It's going to be super simple for us, and you can use things from around the house. So let's give it a try. All right, step number 1 includes the cup and a toothpick. We are going to take the toothpick and poke a hole in the middle of the cup. You want to kind of move it around to make the hole large enough for your string or twine to sneak through. Now I'm going to turn the cup on its side, and I'm going to lay my string out next to the cup. And I know I'm going to be tying something to each end of the string. So I want to leave a little extra above the cup, and I want to leave a little bit of extra length below the cup, and make sure that my string is long enough. Our next step will be to place the string through the condiment cup hole. Give you a few moments to do that. The next thing I need to do is tie a bead to the end of this string. You might want to use a double knot for that. A double knot is when you tie one knot on top of another. I have my string tied around my bead, and it's passing through the condiment cup, and it should hang on its own. Whoops, my hand is in the way. Okay, should hang on its own. The next step will be to tie the jingle bell to the other end of the string. I would suggest using a double knot again. Now, this is going to be tricky to get the string through that small hole, but I think we can do it. I'll give you a few moments to do that as well. Okay, I managed to get the jingle bell on the other end of the string. You'll notice my string is pretty short. It needs to be short enough to fit inside the cup. What's going to happen is when the water in the cup moves, the jingle bell is going to sound. Well, how are we going to do that? We are going to turn the cup. All right, so now I put a hole in my cup, and what I did is I used a toothpick and I poked it through and I went around and around and around, and I made a hole large enough for water to pass through. And I'm going to place that cup in a jar like this. Then I'm going to place the popsicle stick across the top of the cup. So I have the jar, an empty jar or vase, the cup, the empty cup with a hole, and a popsicle stick. I'm going to place my contraption, my water clock, with the condiment lid down inside, and I'm going to try to balance the jingle bell on top. Now I'm going to add water to the cup. As I add water to the cup, the condiment lid floats. Once the water has left, the jingle bell will fall and sound the alarm. Let's watch what happens. All right, here we go with our water clock. I'm going to put water inside, and let's see what happens. I don't know if you can see the water is going down, and as the water goes down, time passes. And as time passes, our float, our condiment lid, is floating lower and lower into our water clock cup. I see the water's going down. Let's see if our alarm will sound. Oh, it's getting closer. You might want to try this experiment several times and time the water flow with a stopwatch or your own alarm. The water is flowing, and when the water drains out, the bell will be pulled into the cup, signaling the alarm. Now, would a thicker liquid like oil take longer or a shorter amount of time? You might want to experiment with different liquids. Oh, we're getting close. So if we had a thicker liquid, would time pass more slowly? What if we had a larger hole in our styrofoam cup? Would that affect the amount of time and the water flow or the liquid flow? Experiment with different liquids. Experiment and time how long it takes for your bell to fall. Your water clock is an ancient measure of time. So simple, yet so genius. There it goes. Starting to move. As the water level drops, the bell moves. Any second now. Oh, here comes our alarm. There it goes. Wow, that was pretty cool. Try it a couple of times. Maybe your string needs to be shorter. Maybe you need to pour in less water. You're going to have to experiment to see how your clock will work. All right, Snoqualmie Elementary scientists, I hope you had a great time making this ancient water clock. What did you notice? What did you think? What do you wonder? Well, just remember the words of one of my favorite teachers, Miss Frizzle. Take chances, make mistakes, and get messy. Science can be so fun. Make sure you check out the other science videos that the Snoqualmie Elementary PTA has provided. They're pretty interesting. You might learn something and have fun. Thanks. I'll see you next time. I'm Miss Shier. Bye.